This text is written by Prometheus UA. I remind you, our great provider of historical content of you got Ukrainian music, and like in general, very wise and knowledgeable person. So guys, due to the lottery draw in this patch, I prefer the word raffle, but you know, I will go with this one this time. Due to the lottery draw in this patch, you almost missed how much history is associated with this symbol. You know, while I'm reading this, I'm gonna put the patch on my microphone so you could see it, what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, let's go. The patch of the 54th Brigade features the coat of arms of Ivan Mazepa, one of the Ukraine's most significant historical figures. Mazepa was the hetman, leader in brackets, of Ukraine from 1687 to 1709. Wow, so that means for 22 years, guys. And just imagine how hard it was to hold a leader of the whole country, the whole nation, for 22 years. So he was, at that period, he was ruling the Hetmanat in Ukrainian, an autonomous state within the Russian Empire that existed from 1648 to 1782 and covered the left bank of the Dnipro River. His 22-year reign is the longest of any Ukrainian leader. I apologize for that breakup there. So yeah, 22-year reign is the longest of any Ukrainian leader. So this is why he's so famous. Ivan Mazepa was extraordinarily educated, fluent in multiple languages. Under his rule, he implemented a smart tax policy, and many historians consider this a golden era for Ukraine. He invested heavily in building and restoring churches and cathedrals, significantly shaping the Ukrainian Baroque architecture style. How do you say Baroque? Barocco? We say Barocco in Ukraine. Architectural style. Nearly every church you see in Kyiv today was was either built, modernized, or rebuilt during Mazepa's time at the end of the 17th century. So I need to go to the next photo here. Great. So these structures, originally built during the Kievan Rus era, 11th, 13th century, needed repairs, and Mazepa not only restored them, but also modernized them with contemporary designs. So here's one of the churches, and you can see something interesting on this church if we show it closer on this photo. You see? You can actually find something similar, right? Yeah, pretty fucking similar. Next one is also his coat of arms you see on this photo, and here's another church. He also funded education extensively. Funded, not founded. Extensively, and he built the new buildings for the Kyiv Mohyla Academy, where for fun he would sometimes give lectures in Latin. In those days, it was common for educated people to write poetry, and a few of Mazepa's poems have survived. The patch bears the inscription "Prez Shabli Mayu Pravo," by the saber we claim our rights. So yeah, it is on the top of the patch here, guys. You can see it. Let me show it to you quickly. So, Prez Shabli Mayem Pravo. By the saber, we claim our rights. A quote from one of his late 17th century poems. So he was also a poet. That's pretty interesting. And what is next? This 17th century poem was recently adapted into a song by Horea Kozacka. Horea Kozacka, a Ukrainian group that revives ancient folk and Baroque music. Yeah, guys, actually, the song is provided here together with this, and I think we have time to play it. Let me play it for you real quick.
Всі покою щире прагнуть, а не в єдиний гуш всі тягнуть, той направо, той наліво, а все браття, то того диво, той направо, той наліво, а все браття, то того диво. Нема ж любви, нема ж згоди, от жовтої взявши води, през незгоду всі пропали, самі себе звоєвали, през незгоду всі пропали, самі себе звоєвали. Ей, братища, пора знати, що не всім нами панувати, не всім дано все є знати, і річами керувати, не всім дано все є знати, і річами керувати. На корабель поглядімо, много людей полічімо, єднак стирник сам кермує, весь корабель управує, пчулка бідна матку маєт, і оноє послухає. Жалься, Боже, України, що не вкупі має сини, єден живе із погани, кличе сюда атамани, іді матки ратувати, не даймо їй погибати, іді матки ратувати, не даймо їй погибати. Другий ляхом за грош служить, по Вкраїні і той тужить. Мати моя старенькая, чом ти вельми слабенькая? Мати же моя старенькая, чом ти вельми слабенькая? Різно тебе розшарпали, где аж по Дніпр туркам дали, весь їх фортель, щоб слабіла, і щоб в конець сил не міла, весь їх фортель, щоб слабіла, і щоб в конець сил не міла. Третій Москвію ж голдує, і їй вірно услугує, той на матку нарікає, і недолю проклинає, той на матку нарікає, і недолю проклинає. Ліпше було не родити, нежели в таких бідах жити. Зо всіх сторон ворогують, огнем мечем руїнують, от всіх сторон ворогують, огнем мечем руїнують. От всіх нема ж зичливости, ані слушної учтивости. Мужиками називають, а подданством дорікають. Мужиками називають, а подданством дорікають. Чом ти, братове, не учила, чом от себе їх пустила? Ліпше було пробувати, вкупі лиха одбувати. Ліпше було пробувати, вкупі лиха одбувати. Я сам бідний не здолаю, хіба тільки заволаю. Гей, панове генерали, чому єсте так оспали? Гей, панове генерали, чому єсте так оспали? І ви, панство полковники, без жадної політики, озмітеся всі за руки, не допустіть гіркої муки. Озмітеся всі за руки, не допустіть гіркої муки. Матці свої більш терпіти, нуте врагов, нуте бити. Самопалов набивайте, острих шабель добувайте. Самопалов набивайте, острих шабель добувайте. А за віру хочу мрійте, і вольностей бороніте. Нехай вічна буде слава, же при шаблі маєм права. Нехай вічна буде слава, же при шаблі маєм права. Нехай вічна буде слава, же при шаблі маєм права.
there's this translation of this poem. Let's go. While all the peace sincerely preach, not all in one direction reach. Some right and some left do range, yet all are brothers. How very strange. There is no love, nor does harmony rank, since we quenched our thirst at the Zhovti's bank. Through disagreement, none are saved, but our own endeavor have we become enslaved. Aye, brothers, 'tis time to see that we all cannot masters be, not all a grace with knowledge wide enough to over all preside. Glance at a vessel, if you but will, you'll see many voyagers, and still the master had the ruling hand. The entire ship is at his command. Even the bee boasts a mother, whom it obeys, and no other. Have mercy, God, for Ukraine, whose sons are scattered o'er the plain. Some still are mired in pagan days, beseeching others to follow their hasty ways, our motherland to defend, to cherish. Let us not permit her to perish. Another the poles for silver serves, the while he grievingly observes. Aged mother, if thou but will, tell why thou art so deathly ill. Wantonly have you been torn asunder, when to the Dnieper the Turks obtained as plunder all your forts to make you ail, so that in the end your health would fail. A third gives Moscow loquacious praise, serving her faithfully in divers ways. Another the mother does berate and damn his own unhappy fate. 'Twere best not to have sampled life than to live in the midst of all this strife. From all sides on us they turn, with fire and sword they ruin, burn. All are waiting in goodwill, no proper civility can thou instill. Music is a musician, is the name muzhik, not musician. Muzhik is like a, poor people, they called it, Muscovites called people, poor people, muzhiki, is the same they have applied while bringing subjection like a tide. Why didst thou not teach thy sons to obey? Why from thy side did thou let them stray? 'Twould have been best if in unity we had tried to reckon with adversity. Alone I am bound to fail, the most I can do is rail. Hey, gentlemen generals, pray, why have you fallen asleep this way? And you, sir colonels, whose hands are clean of all politics, no matter the sheen, will you not clasp hands and bring an end to the bitter suffering our mother has so long endured, and lo, now hurl it down upon the foe. Recruit the torch to do your labor along with the keenest saber. Stand by your faith to the bitter end. Your liberty, too, you must defend, and immortalize in glory bright that with our sword we protect our right. Wow, damn. This song ends with Pres szabli majem prawo, so that with our sword we protect our right. That's fucking powerful. Wow, I have kind of those, a bit of a cathartic moment of catharsis. And damn, thank you. Heroem slava, indeed. It's, thank you for providing the translation for this poem, Prometheus. That's really powerful. Thank you. Yeah, Mazepa's actual saber still exists. Undisputed heavyweight boxing champion Alexander Usyk once presented it before a fight. Currently, the saber is exhibited in the Tower of London, where a special exhibition dedicated to Mazepa was opened by Stephen Fry. Stephen Fry, props to you, big man. You, damn. Opening an exhibition in the name of Mazepa is something badass that, not every person could do. Stephen Fry is based. You can also buy an affordable souvenir replica of it in Aurora discount stores across Ukraine. Yeah, Aurora discount stores. I think we gotta get some of these sabers for Tune and Andreas while they're still here. I'm gonna get them to Aurora. So yeah, guys, this is Mazepa saber. It says Szabla Mazepy, Ukraine Wow, and Aurora. You can see the logo of the company. So guys, you can get the sabers when you're in Ukraine. Between 1700 and 1721, the Great Northern War unfolded, involving many European powers through mainly Sweden and Russia. The brilliant and undefeated King Charles XII of Sweden was winning battle after battle against Peter I of Russia. Here's the photo, the painting of the Charles XII of Sweden. There, that's him. And here's the ugly portrait of Peter the First. So basically, you can see how different the art in Russia was at that time, comparing to the beautiful art of Europe. While Europe already had the color TV. Oh my god, this is so hilarious. Moscovians were still using the black and white type of TV in their shitland. So Peter I was losing battle after battle to Charles XII of Sweden, but the thing is, they were not. Maybe they were on the battlefield themselves, but I don't think on all the battles. Anyway, in 1708, Charles turned toward Ukraine, and for several reasons, Hetman Mazepa allied with Sweden. In return, Sweden promised to support Ukrainian independence. Look at this, guys. But independent. You see the yellow outline. So here's in the red outline, you can see Ukraine. Here is Zaporizhia. Ukraine. Something like Zaporizhia. Orlik, I think Piliup Orlik maybe, independent. Yeah, so there was this support of Ukrainian independence if they win over Moscovia, right? Let's go. But in 1709, the Battle of Poltava in present-day Ukraine ended in defeat for Sweden. Charles XII, overconfident, refused to involve Mazepa's Ukrainian Cossacks in the main assault, and that was a big mistake. So here's the painting of the defeat of Charles XII, and I think behind him, wait, is it the Moscovians standing behind him? I don't know, but this loss drastically altered the fate of Sweden, Ukraine, and all of Eastern Europe. Russia's victory in that war led directly to the founding of the Russian Empire in 1721, the battle that shook Europe. After the defeat, Mazepa and Charles XII fled to Ottoman-controlled territory, where the aging Mazepa's son passed away. Mazepa soon passed away. Oh my god, Mazepa's son. So the aging Mazepa soon passed away, you can see, on Ottoman-controlled territory. Enraged by Mazepa's alliance with Sweden, Peter I retaliated brutally. He captured and destroyed Baturin, the hetmanate's capital, massacring the thousands, including women and children. He publicly executed and burned an effigy of Mazepa and ordered the Russian Orthodox Church to anathemize him, excommunicate him. For over 300 years, this anathema has been proclaimed in churches, even in those Mazepa built, some of which are still controlled by the Russian Church in Ukraine. Hello, Tucker Carlson, just in case you're watching. Thank you for that part, Prometheus UA. For over 200 years, until the early 20th century, Ukrainians who opposed Russia were labeled Mazepists, after Mazepa. Even today, Russians demonize Mazepa simply because he stood up to Russian dominance and aligned with the Western power. That hatred has persisted for over 300 years. It's just messed up how it is with Muscovians, guys. During World War I, the Ukrainian siege riflemen, part of the Austro-Hungarian army, designed a military cap called the Mazepenka, based on traditional Cossack hats. That's how it looked. This cap is now an official part of Ukraine's military uniform. Exactly, guys. I've seen this Mazepenkas on in Pixel, and you know Pixel is a Ukrainian pattern of the uniform. Here it is, the Ukrainian Pixel. There's actually, unfortunately, also a Russian Pixel. They of course copied it from us, just like they do with everything. They copy everything. Ironically, in the 18th, 19th centuries, Western Europe knew more about Ukraine than it did in the 20th or 21st centuries. Back then, universities didn't yet have Slavic studies. Departments focused almost exclusively on Russia while ignoring Ukraine and other Eastern European nations. In 1600s and 1700s, Ukraine was often mentioned in La Gazette, one of the world's first modern newspapers from France. So you can see it's 1709, 21st of December 1708 here, Ukraine, Boris Fan, Moscovites, you see, Moscovites, and Ukraine is there. And here's another page with another mention. La Ukraine, Moscovites, Kofakis, General Mazepa here, or General maybe, if we're talking French here, right? Later, the famous French philosopher Voltaire wrote a major work on King Charles XII, which included significant sections about Ukraine and Mazepa. This work inspired English poet Lord Byron to write his poem Mazepa, which tells a fictional story of a young Mazepa at the Polish court, where, after an affair with a married woman, he was tied naked to a horse and sent galloping into the wind. Here's an excerpt, that's the word. Away, away, my steed and I, upon the pinions of the wind, all human dwellings left behind. We sped like meteors through the sky, when with its cracking sound the light is checkered with the northern light. I'm very bad in English poetry, guys. Sorry, I mean in reading poetry in English. And that's his poem, Mazepa, by Lord Byron. Other notable poets and writers, including Victor Hugo, also wrote about Mazepa, his story-inspired paintings, and even classical music compositions. Here are some of them. Here are some of the paintings, guys. So Mazepa is tied to the horse on these, yes. And here's a political cartoon from the American Civil War depicting President Abraham Lincoln as Mazepa. Ha! Look. The modern Mazepa, it says. To the ruins. Fun. October 29th, 1864. That's pretty cool. Places named after Mazepa, streets, towns, and parks can be found in Canada, South Africa, Australia, and the US. Like this one, Mazepa Park, for example. Town of Mooresville, Lake Norman. 1873, NC, North Carolina. That's pretty cool. Now for something fascinating. For centuries, Russia systematically erased Mazepa's image. Portraits of him were destroyed, and keeping one at home could get you in trouble. His body and brutal site were lost. And burial site were lost. For a long time, no one even knew what he looked like. But recently, thanks to an investigation involving Ukrainian intelligence services, yes, even the SBU, a documentary film revealed a lifetime portrait of Ivan Mazepa. And just a few years ago, a portrait of Mazepa was found. Here it is, guys. And you see his coat of arms is there on that portrait. So that should be him. Take a look. Doesn't he remind you of Andreas Lach? Andreas, admit it. Do you have Ukrainian roots? That's pretty cool, Prometheus. I really love how you add this detail here. As you can see, even 300 years later, Ivan Mazepa remains a powerful symbol of Ukraine's fight for independence. To Russians, he's like a red flag to a bull. So whoever wins this patch will hold a piece of Ukraine's profound history. Don't miss out, grab a ticket and boost your chances. Thank you very much, Prometheus. Great text. Bad reading today from me. This is the story. And Ivan Mazepa is a truly legendary Ukrainian who is, who I'm really inspired by right now, actually, after reading this story, and actually heard, I was reading history about him, so I know a bit more details. So I was actually familiar with Mazepa before, but reminding myself some interesting details is pretty cool. So thank you, Prometheus UA, for refreshing my memory, and thank you very much for writing this article, text,